say make we no talk, but thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This man not dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Aha.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live.
Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
I missed you too, and I'm glad to be back, right? As you are joining me, share the broadcast. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. Just tell them, Mayegun today.
Ó bá ṣe rere, àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary, ó sì tún ṣe rere, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary.
The costs of a Niger Republic crisis are already being felt by the active players in this, not just Niger Republic. Share the broadcast. Please read the caption of the broadcast, yeah? Read the description as well. There is more to talk about tonight. We're just going to start from Niger. When we start, share the broadcast, like the broadcast. You can also subscribe if you haven't already, because... What Kolu and ECOWAS couldn't do, a new rebel group, just like we predicted just 2 days ago, and it's coming so soon, by the way, a new rebel group is now ready to challenge the coupists in Niger, reinstate the removed president, and return them back to France. Here. Motideo. So good morning to you once again, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun live, and you are welcome to the Temple of Truth tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, this should be the update or follow-up on the last time we met, and we are starting from Niger Republic. I told you a few days ago that, the storm hasn't really arrived. In fact, the storm was gathering. The fact that somehow, Tinubu, without any international or diplomatic experience, or nobody in his team, decided to be the Shinorambo for the rest of enslaved West African states to challenge the coupists in Niger, making it look like it is the fight for democracy. Of course, it is not about democracy. You know that. There are many revelations coming out almost every day. And to make it more kind of serious, there are new revelations that shows that whether Nigeria attack Niger, ECOWAS, or anybody, the West, America, and France, especially the EU rather, European Union, they will have no other option than to get rid of the guys in the army. Now, let me give you a quick background somehow, right? To make you understand the complexity of what is really going on in Niger and how soon the escalation of it is going to spread across the region as all parties are currently dagger down, like we are ready for, right? You remember that we were talking about the Nord Stream, pipeline. That was the pipeline that carries gas, like the normal fuel, from Russia to Europe. Also, America depends 50% of America uranium, which they use for their nuclear power plants and all that in America, comes from Russia. So when this wahala in Ukraine started, as a background, okay, when the wahala in Ukraine started, America and EU and the rest of them, you remember they sanctioned Russia. So many things. Russia money, Russia oil, Russia this, Russia that. They sanctioned almost everything except the uranium. In case if you didn't pay attention, they did not sanction that. But in fighting back, Russia also cut down the access to uranium by the United States, almost to probably nothing now. So where else? Mind you, Europe also depends on Russia oil. At least more than 50% of our energy in Europe comes from Russia. They are Nord Stream pipeline. So when the war in Ukraine got escalated and they bombed the Nord Stream, that cut off the kind of oil or fuel supply to Europe, energy. Meanwhile, as Nord Stream got bombed, the American and European companies, oil companies, they quickly fast forward the construction of their expected pipeline from Nigeria going through Niger and then to Morocco and then to Italy and back to Europe. So Europe is kind of depending on that pipeline. It is like, and America depends also on this uranium. Now, these guys are pledging their allegiance to the same Russia, which means there is going to be an interruption about the pipeline. And that is like a call for war. Now, these two blocks, the West, they won't have any of that. So, in the course of this coup, they sent Newman, or what's that guy, that woman's name? The Deputy Secretary of State, America. They sent her to Niamey to go and meet the coupists that they are going to allow the coupists to continue. But they want them to keep all other treaties and agreements, which keeps them in that region. They want them to keep them in place. France will remain and Americans will remain. Because between the time the Russia-Ukraine started to now, America and EU, from what we heard, though, they have invested over 16 billion US dollars. And they had a plan of investing even more, like double of that, to complete this project. And Niger is about to terminate that. So if you want to keep power, keep it. But don't tamper with all these arrangements. And the guy said, well, they did meet the Deputy Secretary of State. They did not meet her. She was in the army for almost 2 days. And you know, people who know her very well, they were like, the offer she brought, you better take it. If you don't take her offer, Niger, whether the rest of Africa wants it or not, Niger is going to be invaded. Anyhow, anytime. Whether it's going to be a rebel this, whether it's going to be another counter coup, whatever it's going to be, Once that woman comes to your country, you need to take the offer. So they didn't see her, which means they rejected the offer. And just 24 hours after they said that she left Niamey, another rebel group, in fact, the rebel groups like Asari, the Fulani terrorists, all those ones, the Boko Haram kind of rebels that have been operating in the Sahel, they have the origin of the Tuareg. If you are talking about the Tuareg, in that axis of the Sahel, they are the deadly terrorist group. But they call themselves rebels, fighting for God knows what. And talk about the people I mean, these were supposed to actually be the people that France and America, based in those regions, were trying to make sure that they control, okay, or contain, so that they will not have the audacity to either attack any American, European, you know what I mean, like index or plan any attack on American soil. So that's why they build all their bases. That's why they say they are building their bases, so that everywhere they can be in charge before people come in to attack America. So these two other guys, one of them just came out. They call him Bola. And you know, Ebola is kind of a popular word right now in Niger because of Tinubu Abi. So this guy just came out and said, listen, we reject this coup. The first internal disagreement since this coup started and successful. It didn't stop there. He said, we reject this. And me and my people, we are going to stage a counter coup. Like he made it public. We're going to stage a counter coup. We're going to remove these guys. And we are going to return Bazoum back to power. And everything is going to be fine. What does that tell you? It tells you that finally they have found a way in. Of course, it's going to be like a civil war. Okay, they will supply these guys, and then the fight will rage on and rage on and rage on. Then that will open the door for humanitarian support, peacekeeping mission. America, France, Nigeria, everybody will now go in to save the civilians. Do you understand that? That is the next stage, and it is going to happen any moment from now. Now, you see, these guys are from the northern part of Niger. And according to them, rather than for this coup guys, this junta to continue, they would rather divide the Niger Republic into two. In fact, they don't want to divide it into two. They are going to take over Niamey. So what that primarily means is that the northern part of Niger Republic has been somehow the key entrance into Niger of what you can call the looming civil war. I'll give you a bit of a background of how this played out in Sudan. Somebody actually published it, so timeline of, Sudan is at war right now. I mean, you can say it's civil war, and it all started from the removal of Omar al-Bashir, okay, after the revolution. Now, after that revolution, the military, the ones who were like repentant terrorists, okay, and the normal military of Sudan. So you remember the Janjaweed, right? The Janjaweed, who are like usual rebel, like this Tuareg, they found favor in the palace of Omar al-Bashir, the former president of Sudan. Remember? So when the revolution happened, al-Bashir was removed. These two guys, one of them who happened to be the kind of the friends to Americans, the Janjaweed, what have you, I think those ones are the friends of the Americans. The other guy is like the friends to Russia. So they kind of found America. Let me show you that. When the old revolution started, Marshall, on your screen. Right? So they said that when America got in, okay, it's called the Sudan Cliff Notes. How Sudan descended into the chaos you are seeing today. And it seems that a lot of the people currently don't even have a clue what's going on anymore in Sudan. Probably Sudan is more now like a lawless place like Libya, Abi. Right. So this timeline, they said in August last year. So US ambassador appointed to Sudan, right? After 25 years. Again, in September, the US ambassador warned Sudan against finalizing Russia naval base deal. Then in that same 2022 in November, Blinken, which is Joe Biden's, Secretary of State, urges Sudan to consider US support for the rapid formation of a civilian-led transitional government. In December, UN brokered framework agreement between Sudan's military leaders and leading pro-democracy parties, or Democratic Party, whatever, pro-democracy parties. Anyway, Blinken threatened in that same December travel ban for Sudanese who endanger framework agreement deal. This was American deal for Sudan, right? In February this year, Sudan confirms their deal with Russia, which, you see, then in that same February, Biden sent $288 million in humanitarian aid to Sudan. Like, okay, take this money, right? Now, in March, Nuland, that's her name, Victoria Nuland, visits Sudan to discuss democracy. In April, conflict escalates between Sudanese armed forces under General Boran and paramilitary group RSF under Dagalo. So in April, that same April, a US evacuates Sudan. The job was done. Here you get. So whatever goes on in Sudan afterward is Sudanese business. So that's the woman that visited Niamey. And she made them a deal. The guys didn't meet her. They refused to see her, which means they rejected the deal. Now, a rebel group, who called themselves, I go look for that name, something like, I think RCC or something. One moment. Yeah, a rebel who called themselves the people to rescue. I mean, they call themselves CRR, rather, not RCC. CRR, which loosely like translated as Council of Resistance for the Republic. So they are going to be the Council for Resistance, Council of Resistance for the Republic, CRR. So guess, and this is coming from an ex-rebel leader, like somebody who has been a rebel, like Asari, and they are like, Asari, okay, you are forgiven. You know, when they talk about Asari, they say Asari is ex-rebel leader. Tompolo, ex-militant. Asari, ex-militant leader. Abi? Something like that, Abi? So that's the guy, and he was like, you know what? We are going to take them on. But Nigeria on the side, after having their tail hidden between their legs, Kolu and his board of clowns from ECOWAS, they decided that they are going to place more sanction on them. Sure, you get more sanction on Niger Republic and more sanction on the junta and their family members. Also, Central Bank of Nigeria will also confiscate properties of anybody that is known to be supporting the Niger Republic junta in Nigeria. What does that tell you? It tells you that when they shut down Tinubu by the Senate, it was the northern senators, okay? They were the ones who kind of said, no, there's not going to be any war. There shouldn't be any war. So they shut him down. So in his own response right now, since they can't like legally go on and attack Niger, so Kolu is now, like he said, they have now authorized the Central Bank of Nigeria to confiscate the properties and money of anybody known to be supporting the junta in Nigeria. So which means some businesses and some people are going to be, or maybe Bokwari is going to be, I don't know, I'm just saying, like, your money and your properties in Nigeria can be confiscated if you should be found to be supporting the the coupist in Niger. So, but there is also some, what do you call it? The blowback effects too. In Niger, right? They have declared their airspace closed, which means no aircraft, commercial, is allowed to pass through the airspace of Niger. If you pass through, anything can happen. Not that Niger has the weapon to shoot down anybody in the sky. According to their military, they don't have such kind of weapons. But you just never can tell. They are exercising that legitimacy, the sovereignty that they have as a country by saying you shouldn't fly over our country. Now, not flying over their country, like, let's even like slow it down a bit before we get to that. The economic destruction that Skolu has brought upon Nigeria, like that of Bokuwari, is more or less like the continuation of the economic ruin, policies that continue to kill businesses, right? In Nigeria, the continuation of that is what Tinubu represents, no doubt. In the last 2 months, Nigerian businesses have seen shege. I'm talking about the real shege, including those international airlines who actually have destination Nigeria. Now, you know what has happened? The issue of this harmonized or not harmonized or unified or not unified exchange rates has made it even more difficult for some of these companies to recoup their profits or even their investment in Nigeria. The last 2 months has seen many of them lost billions and billions of dollars, not naira. Trillions of your money, trillions of their money are blowing up like in smoke, like ashes. And they know that all of this are coming from the clueless, incompetent Tinubu. I'm still coming back to that competency, because apart from the fact that they are like crooked criminals, they also are incompetent criminals too. We'll come back to that. So the blowback of this is that the aviation fuel, what do you call it? The exchange rate debacle, these businesses are bleeding in Nigeria. GlaxoSmithKline, that left Nigeria, announced that they are leaving Nigeria. They said, number one, the market is now saturated with some of the cheap products, which with the poverty level in Nigeria increasing, most of their products are being found in cheap form, right? And they could no longer maintain or sustain the quality anymore, and they cannot reduce the quality like others are doing. Now, Nigerians are being thrown into the market of a substandard healthcare. Access to substandard drugs has escalated than you have known it to, fake drug, they say, right? Well, this time around, you'll be so glad that you are able to even afford that fake drug as it is right now. So the originals are moving because their businesses are bleeding, while Tinubu and gang are sharing money. Now, all these are happening, right? And they may not have told you. Before now, to fly from Nigeria to Europe or to America, this as much as inflation has affected almost everything, including your feeding and all that, right? It has affected the fare too. Like I'm talking about 100% to 200% increase, 300% increase. I'm not joking. Now, this is about those who are like doing businesses with Nigeria, or Nigerians who are doing businesses outside Nigeria, and those who are actually like, you know what I mean? All these businesses today, they are packing up, and it's about to get worse. Yeah, it's about to get worse. Niger Republic are saying, don't fly over our country. Now, what does that mean in real context? Let me show you. Although you might say, this is a rich man problem, Baba, I never chopped since morning. I'm still coming back to yours. It is called blowback. Now, everybody go collect time. The fact that Nigeria that should have played a bigger role in defending Niger Republic's interests and possibly walk them through whatever bogus democracy they are talking about. I mean, by not ignoring the truth, they know, Nigeria know. Tinubu and gang knows that it is not about democracy. They don't give a damn about democracy. It is about their interest, which is in this manner, is a multi-billion dollars interest. Something that could, if it is not fought, they believe, is either they go back to Putin and say sorry, or Europe should wait for the upcoming poverty, generation of poverty. I mean, poverty. I mean, it's what you call generational poverty that is going to hit Europe in the next decade or two if they don't put their foot down like they want to do right now in Niger. So Nigeria that should have played the big brother and say, you know what? Let's renegotiate all these things. There's no point in invading them. If there's any invasion on Niger, we will stand up and defend Niger. By saying that alone means that they can come around and say, okay, yeah, the interest of the Niger people. Maybe get a better, it's not about deal, economy, Abi. Get a better deal this time around where all their lifetime, all their resources and everything about Niger is currently banked in France. So Nigeria that is not doing that is indeed, right? Apart from the fact that they don't give a damn about you Nigerians who are living in Niger. I'm coming to that too. But what does this mean? For those of you who understand the no-fly zone, do not fly over our country. If you fly your passenger planes over our country, anything you see, make you take them. So what that simply means then is that for you to leave Nigeria for Europe, they would have to make a sort of a detour to fly another 1,000 miles to your journey, before they can then face wherever you are going to. Do you see how scanty that particular region has become? Now, the more things get tense in that region in the coming days, the more there's going to be more wide circle that is going to further say, don't fly over this place because there is war. When you have, you see Niger there, you see Chad, you see Sudan. Now, people don't fly over Sudan anyhow anymore anyway, right? Now, Niger will had, see Mali on the left, see Mauritania, go up a little bit, come down a little bit, you see Burkina Faso. That's how the circle will spread. They said Nigeria and all these airlines that they have already lost over 1.7 billion US dollars. Now, that may not mean anything to you, okay? Because you don't fly on planes, do you? What you don't know is that Nigeria is, apart from the fact that, there's so much traffic over Nigeria for different reasons. Those who are japa and mostly those who are doing businesses. Businesses that obviously shows that Nigeria is an import-dependent country, right? Now, what that means is you bear the cost. That's what I mean. Okay? So if they are adding extra, whether extra 1,000 kilometers or extra 1,000 miles to your flight, you will bear the cost. Now, you have to add that to whatever it is right now, everyone is paying. You are buying a ticket of 2,000, there's 700 pounds. London to Lagos to London, 2,700 pounds. The same thing that used to be around 1,000, 1,200, 800 pounds return. It has jumped now to 2,700, and it's going to continue. It's all these effects are going to be the blowback. Then to get to a stage, the airlines will be like start cutting down. Like it won't be profitable anymore. When you go to a place and you don't have that huge kind of patronage anymore, people are no longer like living anymore, or they are not returning because it is pointless. So you begin to cut down, then people will begin to lose their jobs. That's how it works. So they begin to lose their jobs. Some of the business will begin to close down. And the more this happens, the more most of you are push further, either outside Nigeria or push further into poverty. They haven't started yet. Now, just announcements Tinubu has been making. Now, all these announcements Tinubu has been making about Niger Republic, apart from the fact that they don't give a damn about you. The quality of this 1.7 billion is not lost on air flight. I'm talking about some of those who are trading between Niger, those who are bringing the cows, livestock, grains, and other things that they are trading between the borders. They can no longer do that. Most of the transactions that were supposed to happen as a business, they've cut them off because Niger can no longer transact with other West African countries. Now, all of this are just the symptom of what is still to come when they go further with what they are. Then the part where Nigerians who are in Niger watching all of this and they didn't see anywhere that the Nigerian government is even mentioning them, talking about their evacuation, talking about what's going to be their fate, especially knowing that it seems that it is inevitable. They are going to stage either a counter coup in Niger that will lead to a civil war. They know it. And they know that Nigerians are in that place. And there is absolute nothing, no plan. When they cut electricity, they probably don't give a shit about those of you who are Nigerians in that place. There are Yorubas, there are Igbos, there are Hausas, there are Fulanis, there are many people from other parts of Nigeria who are residents of Niger Republic. Of course, you might say it's easier for them to you better start coming back. Remember what they did to Nigerians in Sudan. Nigerians was not involved in any kind of party of their war in Sudan, no. But when the situation got so bad, Nigerians became collateral damage. You know the whole story. Niger is not too far from Nigeria. The evacuation of Nigerians are not being discussed as we speak, but the inevitable attack of Niger is currently top-notch. But this mama, from that Niger, sorry if you don't understand Yoruba, when I come back, I will kind of try to explain what she's saying. She's pleading with Tinubu. Are you thinking about us at all? Do you even know that we have Nigerians here? Are you by any chance, what's the plan? What about our own livelihood here? Our family? You know what I mean? This woman.
Mo kí gbogbo wa o, ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà láti ilé títí tó fi dókè òkun ní gbogbo ibi tí ẹ bá ti ń gbọ́ mi tí ẹ ń wò mí. Ọmọ Nàìjíríà rere, ẹ̀yin ọmọ Odùduwà rere, ẹ bá wa jí bàbá Tinubu. Ẹ jí wọn ní ká gbé pílò kalẹ̀, ọ̀rọ̀ orun kọ́ ló kàn. Kán tún lé ṣe náà kán tó di pé wọ́n ó bọ́ síta wọn láwọn tó ta sí. Kí ló kàn wọ́n pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ Nigeria ọmọ ìyá ọmọ bàbá ni wọ́n. Níjọ́ tí Nàìjíríà àti Niger bá láwọn ò ṣàṣepọ̀ mọ́, ogun ńláńlá ni. Nigeria ní fún Niger níná nítòótọ́ wọ́n ń rà ní. Láti bí ọjọ́ 4 lónìí kò síná ní Niger. Bàbá Tinubu ń wọnú ilé bàbá ọmọ olódòdó, ń wo gbogbo Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n sọ́fà tẹ́bí ń pa wọ́n. Tọ́jú wọn. Wá tó nasẹ̀ wá bá wa nílùú òdì kejì. Tó mọ́ múra bí tẹ́ gbà wá sí o. Torí tẹ́ bá fi ṣe tán bá fi lé àwa àjèjì àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà tá wà ní Niger tán bá fi lé wa kúrò. Mọ́ tọ́jú bí tẹ́ bá kó wa sí o. Tọ́rọ́jọ́ 7 tẹ́ fún wọn. Tẹ́ ní kan fi dá oyè. Ibo náà ti ń ṣerú ẹ̀. Kí ló kàn yín? Fálànà gbọ́ tí ẹ torí ara ẹni là á gbọ́. Bàbá ẹ̀ sì gbọ́ tilé náà kẹ́ tó mọ̀ gbọ́ títà. Mọ̀ kó títí yín bá wa ò jẹ́jẹ́ wa là wá jókòó ń bí báyìí. Ọmọ Yorùbá ni wá. Niger là ń gbé. Ibẹ̀ la mọ̀. Ibẹ̀ ni jíjẹ mímu wa ti ń jáde. Lọ́nà bòmí àmọ́. Bá a bá wálé lónìí àlejò ni wá. Tá a bá wá sí Nàìjíríà lónìí. Tá a bá dé wọ́n mọ̀ páwọn àlejò dé ìlú títí wa ní bí báyìí. Niger is our country. Don't spoil our country for us. Don't let them send us out of country. We are Nigerian. Ẹ má lé wa kúrò níbi tá wà, ẹ má lé wa kúrò nídìí ẹrù wa. Bàbá ẹ dìde lójú oorun. Ẹ tají o bàbá. Oorun tẹ́ ń sùn kò lè help. And it's better kẹ́ kọ́kọ́ yanjú ilé náà kẹ́ tó wá bá wa níbí báyìí. Ogun títí yín náà fi mú wa ń bí o. Ẹ má jẹ́ kan fogun yín, ẹ má jẹ́ kan fi mú wa o. Iná wo kì í kú. Iná wo kú ní Niger rí láti gẹrin sí. Níná nú òkú pirim láwà. Ní torchlight ilé, ní láńtà. Ìbọnà tí ń yọ̀yàn kúrò lórí oyè tán dá yàn padà síbẹ̀. Ọ̀dọ̀ yín láti kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ o. Bàbá ẹ tají lójú oorun o, ẹ tají o, torí nǹkan tí ó tojú oorun yín, tí ó ti ojú oorun yín bọ̀ kò ní rọ̀ o. Ẹ tají, ẹ mọ̀ kó bá wa o.
Did you hear that? Okay. I'm glad that she added the English to it so that those of you who don't understand Yoruba could pick. All right. So, she was begging Tinubu to deal with the problems in Nigeria first. That she's Yoruba and they are Yorubas who live in Niger. Niger is their own country. That's where they have all their livelihood. That every time they visit Nigeria, even the people in Nigeria always call them visitors, Alejo. Or the people from Alejo, the visitors are back from Niger. So Tinubu should not let them turn on them. Or they should not let the Nigerians turn on them. Okay? And she was begging that he should kind of wake up from his slumber and, and leave them alone. Okay? And I hope it will leave you alone, even though it's probably too late. If I must be honest. So those of you who are in Niger Republic, I will say, Koloma Kumashonyu. And if you find your way back home, it is the ideal thing to begin to think of, because with what we kind of have a clue of, once they throw Niger Republic into a civil war in the next week or two, it can last longer enough that that place may not be home for you anymore. Unfortunately, there is also no place, well, there's no place like home. When you go back to Nigeria, that's going to be a different ball game entirely. Okay? Now, let's move forward a bit. They said, how poor do you think Nigerians are? I mean, if you don't want to get so carried away with all the social media frenzy and, everybody's okay. They said, if you go on the streets right now in Nigeria, especially if you are a trader, like people who deals in, essential commodities, right? That a lot of you today are currently facing a stark, shortage of patronage. That you're just there, and it's almost like begging people to just come and take them and pay you later if you can. You know what I mean? Now, this is the effects right there in the country. Economically, Nigeria has retrogressed very badly. And all this, you would ordinarily, I was having a chat with somebody, and I said, let's be honest, okay? There is no free food anywhere, not even in Freetown. There is no free money anywhere. You see all this money these guys are allocating to themselves, whether they are printing the money or they are borrowing the money on your behalf, right? That they are sharing to themselves. And the party remnants left are budgeted for infrastructure or something to help you with, only for them to even loot that again. I said, even if you have a greed, like something that has become like, a sickness. Let's assume that you have sick people, that their greed has brought this economic ruin on Nigeria, and they, at this point, they are still humans, Abi. Like 1, 2, or 3 of them should just feel like, you know what? Can we just cut the looting? Can we just cut the wastage? Can we block all the stealing for just 1 year and dedicate the resources towards this, and that? Just to take a break, 1 year break. What do I mean by that? They have destroyed Nigeria beyond what a lot of you can even define. You know what they told you, that government money is government money, is government money. They always, they will steal and steal. There's always going to be money. There's not going to be any money. And in fact, there is no money. Now, just before these criminals took the baton from Bokwari, Nigeria was already flat, like flat on her belly, economically. All the patching, all the this, they didn't really show anything to prevent you from seeing the obvious. A lot of you decided to get blinded by your tribal, religious, and every other bigotry that is in you. At the time, Nigeria was already belly down as at 2023. Okay? Nigeria was losing over 80% of our own revenue from different revenue sources to criminals. The remaining 20% is just for sharing sake, to the point that Nigeria was servicing debts with 98% of our revenue. And people were not asking, where are you seeing the money you are sharing then? If our revenue says 98% of them is for debt servicing, not even repayment of the debts, just servicing it. Nigeria, a whole Nigeria, 98% of Nigeria revenue is being used to service debt. As of 2023, it got so bad. The Central Bank of Nigeria, secretly, they were printing money for these criminals to share, like it's revenue. Okay? There was no production, no nothing. They were sharing the money. They were giving the money to themselves as allocations. Sure, you get? So they did all of this, and by the time they handed the baton to Kolu, ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria's debt was over 120 billion US dollars. And it has a lifetime of 100 years of repayment. Baba, they can't finish paying the Nigeria debt in my lifetime, not even in the lifetime of my own children. Can you believe that? That's the debt that Bokwari plunged Nigeria into. Well, he's not in jail. Some of the criminals who were with him, some of them are just enjoying whatever they have right now. The rest of you are facing the suffering. They are not telling you that. But instead of them to just tell themselves and say, listen, I think we should put a break on it for a year. Let's do the right thing for a year. Invest in infrastructure, invest in manufacturing, invest in industry, invest in this, invest in that. All this money, let's invest them for a whole year. No mago nonsense. Like minutes. But they said if you find yourself in a hole, the ideal thing is for you to stop digging, not for these criminals. They came in, subsidy is gone, just like that. Any plan? If you understand what you just said, do you have any plan? No, we have plan. We are strategizing on a plan. What plan? People are going to die of hunger. They're going to starve to death. I mean, people are going to die because they are hungry. Would you believe that? That people die because they are starving? I mean, Bokwari devalued Nigeria Naira so terribly that it has become almost a tissue paper. Then these guys, they say he's accountant with Mobile, accountant with Deloitte, accountant from Chicago. He gets sense, he gets brain, he go put together technocrats. Subsidy is gone. So what's the plan? What's your plan? We're going to give you 8,000 Naira every month. 12 million household. How did you come by that? How did you come by that 12 million household? Like, give us showed numbers. Nothing. And they say, okay. What we're going to do is that we're going to... And they started playing you. Only for you to be watching them on your TV, reading them in your papers, that they are sharing money to themselves. But they have no idea how they're going to actually cushion the effect of this. They have no idea where to even put the money. They have no idea what people actually need as essentials. They have no clue. Let's share the money. No, don't share the money. Oh, let us add 10,000 naira to their salary. What about those without salary? Oh, okay. Let's share food. In a country of 200 million people, no plan, nothing. Trial and error. Let's try this one. Oh, okay, they misunderstood us. Let's try that one. They are using your life to play gamble, Ludo. Eyije, Eyioje. Oh yeah, try that one. 6-4. Oh yeah, try again. Oh, Ludo, 1-1. Deuce. You know what that stuff? Your life. Somebody sent me a video. And it's a video of a man of a young little boy who was teary, crying. His dad died. They live in Sabo, Yaba, Lagos. His dad was sick. God knows for how long. You know that time when you be so unwell and you become so poor in Lagos. Okay, let me just say you've seen people who used to be very fine and okay. Then suddenly the father fall sick, or it may be the mother. Then they start going to the hospital. Things started kind of affecting them. Maybe the father will lose his job. They're unable to pay rent anymore. The people in the community, the people in your area begin to see them and begin to say, oh my God, look at this, look at them. Then it got so bad that they will have to say, oh, why don't you just go back to your village? Number one, it's cheaper there. Number two, they can even take care of you very well. You know that stage when the people will now pack all the schooling of their children, all their childhood friends and everybody, you just have to leave them at that point because your father or your mother is very sick and they've got no money in Lagos and they have to return back to village and you all have to pack and return back to a life you never know. Remember that situation? Not Nollywood, real life. Somebody sent me a video and it was like this young boy whose dad died. I think it was at Ojota. He was very sick. They were taking him back to their town. I think the boy said they were taking him back to Ibadan or Osun or something like that. How long has he been sick? So the young boy watched his dad died while they were waiting for their car to leave the park. So they couldn't even leave the park alive. He died right there. And when I saw the video, I was like, look at it. There are so many Nigerians today that the 8 years of APC, Egbekegbe, changed and ruined your lives. And how? See, a lot of people became very poor, very, very poor because of their health. In Nigeria, they talk about typhoid. They are talking about fever. They are talking about Okpayin, Okpawaju, Ale, Afato, Avaru, and the rest of them to make you feel like Okunrin. Those are very minor. Are you with me? There are so many other things that Nigerians have now become the regular victim of: renal failure, kidney failure, heart disease, internal disease, cancer, and so many other things that were never used to be the norm for those who are of the, for those who came from that older generation. They will tell you it never used to be the norm. But as Nigerians have been exposed to more and more toxic environment, uncontrolled environment, uncontrolled substance, where Nigerians have to kind of start shuffling between feeding or clothing. Things have gone so bad that people just have to eat whatever they see. Today, a lot of these diseases have grown in Nigerians when they have no money to even maintain a regular medical checkup. That you can say prevention is better than cure. Won't you say that? And that's what we have in Nigeria today that could automatically make you and turn your world upside down, that people begin to sell their properties to pay for medical bill. Now the economy is going so bad that a lot of them are going poorer and poorer and poorer. Ask them, what is taking your money? Medication. And they are also at the mercy of fake, adulterated medications. As the country go down the drain, as everything goes down the drain, it will become so poorer. It will become something like when what you normally eat is not available, you begin to eat what is available. Do you know that? And this is killing people like regular, like on a steady. As you're watching this video, a lot of families have become poorer because of these medical challenges that they've come across. No help, no support within the system. Some of them are like supposed to be pensioners, enjoy some medical coverage. No, nothing. People are just existing for the existence sake. And Kolu came in. He made it worse. Policy, just policies. policies that touches lives and changes and ruin life. Remember their round-tripping policy of Emefiole, the one that made it easier for a Malam, recharge card seller from Daura, to be in possession of millions of dollars. And he is willing to sell to that businessman, supposedly a billionaire businessman, running his business at the mercy of this middleman created by Emefiole. Remember how that actually destroyed so many businesses? You know how many people actually died, committed suicide, because they couldn't fulfill their credits with their suppliers. They couldn't, because the exchange rate has completely wiped them and cleaned them out. Yeah, and the bank wasn't going to help them either. A lot of them in shame killed themselves. Those who couldn't kill themselves left Nigeria with whatever was left, remnant of whatever is left of their business. Bukwari killed businesses with their policies. Same thing is happening right now. He's more interested in increasing taxes. Like, what? Which accountant is this guy? Agberu accountancy. That doesn't understand that governments make more money when more people are working than taxing the few that are working with no benefit or anything, right? While you have multitude of jobless army of young people. Like, which accountants are these guys? He's putting together, they said he's putting together tax reform, presidential tax reform committee. So those ones, they will give them cash. Those ones, they will be paying them money, millions of naira, Abi. And those ones, they will give them offices. They will also have servants because they want to discuss on how to tax Nigerians who have no job, poor Nigerians. Like, where are these guys from? Okay. In one of those hardship that you currently have, I mean, they did the ministerial screening, concluded that just a few days ago, where they rejected Hell Rufaya, the Kaduna Little Finger. Now, that is already kind of a storm in a teacup right now. We're going to get to that. But let's continue with this economy part. So somehow, they managed to drag Okonjo-Iweala back to Nigeria. But before we get to Okonjo-Iweala, somebody has something to say. Tinubu's policies makes you poor. One defend their lórí social media. Short him on lepa on ton share tiku. Only mama, because I have seen it before. Their policy makes you poorer. You are looking for who to blame. The guys who can't even tell you what they are doing. You making things up in your head, right? But in reality, look around you. Their policies, Abi. When you finish watching this program tonight, go back home, call your family member, tell them to sit, all of them should sit in front of you, right? Stand in front of them, tell them to gaze at you, stare at you very well. What did they see? They'll tell you the truth. Meanwhile, listen to this.
What people don't understand, and I think the media should understand this, when government roll out certain programs and policies, you see, I read in the headlines, oh, federal government to do. That is not the story. The story should have been federal government rolls out funds to further enslave Nigerians. When they see such, I mean, when I was editor of Insider, The Source, those are the kind of headlines that I can. You don't come, there is interpretative journalism. You are a Nigerian. Government says it's going to give 8,000 naira to family, 45,000 naira to about 5 people in 6 months. We only want people to trade that money, which a professor of law, Oshibanjo, was distributing, going to markets. What a shame. What a shame we have in this country, where a professor of law can be reduced by Buhari, who barely went to school, who struggled to look for a school certificate. He sent Oshibanjo on a white goose chase, going to markets and giving 2,000 to people, women selling tomato and pepper. And the rest of us, we are laughing. Today, the tiger that was destroyed yesterday, if you don't tame that tiger, the tiger will enter your bedroom. Who brought Buhari? It is Tinubu himself. Before our very eyes. And Tinubu told us that it is now his turn to preside over the affairs of Nigeria. We all saw that the man has a different approach. But what we have seen so far, he's really not more ruthless policies. More vicious and ruthless policies. This is not about wherever you come from in this country, whether you are a Yoruba man, an Igbo man, it's no longer about tribe or religion. It's about class interest. These individuals are protecting their own class. And they are determined to do it at the expense and at the blood of Nigerians. And that's why CLO is saying today that enough is enough. 8,000.
Thank you, CLO. Civil liberty organizations. Don't fight for anybody, Mr. CLO. When the gbedu enter body, enter body. When the gbedu enter body, darling, enter body. Now everybody could dance am. Mr. CLO, hold up. Because he actually made a statement that is very, very meaningful, and that is they are out to protect their class. Oh, Dele Farutimi. Dele Farutimi said, don't die in their war. That there is no Christian war, there is no Muslim war, there is no Yoruba war, there is no Igbo, Fulani, Hausa war. It is class war. Because when you look at this class of criminals, ladies and gentlemen, you will see Hausa there, you will see Fulani there, you will see Igbo there, you will see Yoruba there, Ijo de there, Efik de there, Nupe de there, Christian is there, Muslim is part of them, Babalawo, Mamalawo, Brodalawo, Nkulawo, Antilawo, and the rest of them are also part of them. There is no discrimination. Young, old, male, female. Go and see that class. Heartless bunch of people. They don't discriminate. I don't think they do. No, they don't. It's class war. My prayers go to all of you Nigerians. Take my prayer because it's honest. Akpabiole, after the job of screening the 48 Alibaba and his 48 thieves, Tinubu's thieves, what happened? They screened out 3 because they said Ribadu. You know Ribadu is the NSA, the one that is National Security Advisor to Kolu. On my life, this life funny. Okay, no funny or a funny. It doesn't matter. It depends how it appears to you. It was this same Ribadu who was investigating Kolu and said the Kolu's type of corruption is multi-dimensional. It cut across borders, international. He was indirectly telling us then that Kolu was a drug dealer, but you didn't pay attention. Fortunately or unfortunately, it depends on which side of the coin you belong to. Ribadu became the presidential candidate of Tinubu's political party. That sealed it. But he didn't become president. Kolu became the INEC president, and Ribadu today is the best investigator that could screen those who shouldn't be ministers. Of course, El Rufaya shouldn't be given any kind of access to any power. But why would you stop El Rufaya where you had Were Wike? Were Wike is there. Matawale is there. Who else is there? Like, you have all this bunch of clowns that are being investigated by your same agencies, right? They are cleared. Why won't you clear the little finger of Kaduna? Something is missing. Of course, there are protests against him that don't clear him or don't clear him. Anyway, that is what I told you was brewing, right? On this side. I haven't got there. We'll still get there. But let's stay in that Senate. So they worked for 1 month. They got inaugurated in June. And they worked for 1 month. Sit for 1 month. And they gave them civil recess. Now, remember, part of the work they did in the last 1 month was one, to pass what they call the palliative appropriation, whatever. 819 billion naira. That's what they did. Now, how did they share the money? I'll tell you. They said 500 billion was going to be given to you at 8,000 naira per person. for 6 months. That was a fraud that they didn't think through anyway. So they've shelved that. But from their sharing, these guys took 70,000 for, they say, to resettle the new lawmakers, all the lawmakers who just came back. They need to settle down because their body they shake. So for their body to settle, 70 billion. Now, not just that, they also needed their cars. Majority of them are so poor that now they take car, so they needed to buy them cars, 40 billion. Because they won't give you 1,000 naira. These guys took 110 billion. When you divide that money, individually, House of Rep and the Senate, each person will take home at least 130 million naira. 130 million naira each.